Shalom, shalom. All praises to Yahuwah, Bashem, Yahusha HaMashiach, by the way of the Ruach HaKodesh. Today I'm dealing with the false doctrine of Jesus meaning earth pig. Alright? And I'm going to prove that Jesus does not mean earth pig. Alright? Now, let's start with the Hebrew. First, you have Yahweh, which is one of the names of God, plus Yasha, which means salvation. When you take the Yahah or the Yahweh and you take the Shah and Yasha, you put it together, you get Yahweh Shah, which means Yahweh's Yasha, Yahweh's salvation. Note that the two root words are Yahweh, Yasha, and there is no sus. Second, another name that people know the Most High Yah by is Yahuwah. Plus Yasha, once again, you take the Yahu and the Shah, you put it together and you get Yahusha, which means Yahuwah's salvation. Once again, the two root words is from Yahuwah and Yasha, and there is no sus. Plus two, let me also state this. When it says Yahuwah's Yasha, Yahuwah is put in possession. He's claiming his Yasha. He's claiming his salvation. It does not mean that Yahuwah is the salvation only. It is claiming his son as the Yasha. He is taking possession and saying that Yahuwah's Yasha, and he's taking possession and ownership to it. But he's not saying that he is the only salvation. Don't let that confuse you. All right. Third, you take Yasha plus the Vav, and you get Yeshua. See? Yasha plus the Vav creates the word Yeshua. So Yeshua also has the root word Yasha. Three names all have the root word Yasha. All no sus. Alright? Now, from Yeshua is where the name Jesus stems from. Okay? The Yud is a Y, which comes into the Greek as an I. The two dots, the E, comes into Greek as an E. The Sheen, which is SH. The dot to the right is SH. Dot to the left will be just an S. So the SH, one letter, the Sheen, becomes the S in Greek. Then you have a U. The dot to the side makes it a U. If the dot was above, it's an O, and no dot would just be a V. So this right here is the OU in the Greek. And then the S is added in Greek because it's required by Greek grammar to make a Greek word masculine. So when you see Zeus, this S is added to make it masculine, but all of these words, all of these letters, the I-E-S-O-U stems from the word Yeshua, which means salvation. Note, there's no sus there. Now, what happens is this part right here, which stems from a word that means salvation, when this S gets added, someone tries to chop it up right here and add this part to this S, and the name Jesus, as you see, the I to the J, the E to the E, the S to the S, the OU to the U, and the S, what they try to do is take the part that means salvation, a piece of it, and take the S and tie it, suggesting that it means pig, to something else when it really doesn't. Okay? As you see, the Yeshu equals the I-E-S-O-U in Zeus, which still means salvation, because if this means salvation, then, and this stems from it, it has to have the same meaning. Think about that. All right. like I said, this is where you actually see the word, the letters that form the word sus come about once this S is added. So note the S added forms SOUS, or as you see in the name Jesus, SUS. But once again, that right there stems from a word that means salvation. That right there stems from a word that means salvation. All right. So the name Jesus actually means salvation. Once again, I came from a word in the Hebrew that means salvation, which has no root word sus. Now, think about this. The letter J stems from the letter I. You just add a little swastika at the bottom of the I and you get the letter J. And I and Y in Hebrew make the same sound. So the J stems from the letter Y. But what's happening is that in this doctrine, this false doctrine, they try to come and say that in Latin, the letter GE means earth. But you don't see no letter G in the letter J. Like the letter J is not connected to the G at all. It comes from the letter I and the I comes from the Y. How in the world is someone connecting this letter G? Now, I understand that from a basic, lack of understanding, without knowledge and all of that, and a G and a J, kind of similar in sound. So, the suggesting that the GE, the JE stems from the GE, I see how someone can suggest that, but we know the power of suggestion is what was done in the garden, and actually that's a tactic and a tool that the devil actually uses. But the letter J does not stem from the letter G, but that's what they're using to denounce the name Jesus, which shouldn't be so, okay? Because the letter J does not come from the letter G. All right. Then the other thing is the name Jesus stems from the Hebrew name, which doesn't have the root word sus, but it has the root yasha. So if it doesn't have the root word sus, and you only can see sus once this S is added, but all of these letters that are attached, or what they're trying to put together, stem from a word that means salvation. You can't, like, if this was in the Hebrew earlier in the beginning, and once again, this is a transliteration from the Hebrew into the English, if the word sus, which means pig, or as some people would say in the Hebrew, it means horse. If you can see sus in Yahushua, then it would have some credibility. If you can see sus, which means horse or pig or whatever, in Yahusha, then it would have some type of credibility. If you could see sus in Yeshua, then it would have some type of credibility. But you don't see it. So, and the reality is that when you look at the word Jesus, it stems from Yeshua, which means salvation, which does not have the root word sus. And once again, the S is added and it's required because of masculine reasons. Has nothing to do with pig. Okay? But let me give you another example. Does sustain have anything to do with pig? Does suspended have anything to do with pig? Because sus there is being used in the form of as like sub, like something that's lower. So sus, I mean, come on now, it's clear as day that someone is suggesting this, and the power of suggestion, no different in the garden. Hey, if you eat from this fruit, God doesn't want you to eat from this fruit because you'll be like him, and it's okay to eat. That's what's happening right here with the name Jesus. Someone is taking a piece that means salvation, connecting it with this S and trying to say that it splits right here when it never did, when really it splits right here. Because the Yesu stems from Yeshua, which means salvation, and the S was added in the Greek to keep it masculine, to show respect. So the reality is the name Jesus actually means salvation. So once again, the whole doctrine of Jesus meaning earth pig, It's a false doctrine. You can't take this right here and go back to the Hebrew and say, well, in Hebrew, sus means horse, so it also means earth horse. You can't do that at all, because this comes prior and this comes from this. And if you don't see sus in this, you can't attach Hebrew to an English word. That's craftiness. That's very wicked, and it's of the devil. I'm telling you right now, anybody that thinks that they're coming in this Hebrew walk thinking that they have some type of understanding, some type of knowledge, I don't care how long you've been in the walk. If you think that you're a Hebrew and you believe the whole earth pig doctrine, you have been deceived, and it's a lie from the pits of hell. And anybody that is being talked to by any Hebrew Israelite who went to church and you're a Christian, and you know someone to introduce this whole earth pig thing to you and all of that, and it sounds like something that you're starting to believe or whatever, it's a lie from the pits of hell. And you see that I write in Hebrew. I understand Yahweh Shah, like you'll hear some of the Hebrew Israelites say on the corners, you know, Yahweh Shah, Bashem Yahweh, they say Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shah, Barakatah, and all that, you know what I mean? Like, I understand all of that, you feel me? And I could tell you and read this and show you color coded. The Yud is the Y, just like it sounds. The Yud is the Y. The Sheen is the SH, just like it sounds. Sheen, okay? The Vav with the dot on the side is the U, the U, all right? This IN is silent in modern Hebrew. That line right there makes an A. So I'm telling you, trying to save you some time. Once again, the letter J comes from the letter I, does not come from the letter G. Someone is lying to you, and do not let them lie to you. And the name Jesus brings salvation, it heals, and the gospel did go out and it is going out in many different languages. Read Psalms 19 verse 3 and 5. What's another one? What's that one? I believe it's Isaiah 28, starting around verse 9. It talks about he will speak, talking about giving milk and stuff, and he'll speak with a stammering tongue and all that type of stuff right there. So you could even read in Malachi chapter 1, talks about his name will be great amongst the Gentiles and all of that. So the reality is, one of the greatest names on this earth that everybody knows, Yahweh Shai, Yahusha, Yeshua, is the name Jesus. And it does not mean earth pig. That is the power of suggestion, and somebody is lying, and you know who is the father of lies. All right. So with that being said, shalom, shalom, barakatah, bless you, and have a blessed night or good morning, boker tov. All right, shalom, shalom. Spread the gospel, let it be known. This earth pig doctrine has to go. Shalom.